peace, there is a love you can get lost inside. Come to the fountain and let me hear you testify into the wild.
My name's Eric Martin, and this is my biography. In our home growing up, church wasn't an ongoing thing. It was every once in a while we'd attend church. I was baptized, but I never had a relationship with God growing up. I would say the best way I could define it is I knew what God was, but I didn't know who God was. I was 29 when I was diagnosed with cancer. At this time I was married to my wife. And at that time, her and I were kind of living our lives. Jeremy was our primary focus, but at that time he was old enough to where we can get a babysitter. Her older brother was living with us. So we'd go out a lot. You know, and nightlife was a thing that we did. We were definitely focused on ourselves. God hadn't really grabbed a hold of me or my wife yet. We were kind of focusing on us and living our life the way we thought we were supposed to be living it. Yeah, when I was first diagnosed, I felt God tugging at my shirt, like, hey, this is me. I'm trying to tell you something. I have something better for you over here. And I listened a little bit. I mean, Shamika and I started going to church when we lived in Escondido. And there was a time where the cancer had gotten better. I did a clinical trial, and the cancer more or less went away for a year and a half. And we were kind of just right back to our ways, you know, like nothing ever happened. And God wasn't finished. God didn't get through what he needed to get through. So here we are. I want to say it was last year. We had found out that the cancer had spread to my brain. And I follow a lot of melanoma stories on social media. And I know what that means when cancer goes to the brain. It's usually a quick expiration date after that. And Shamika and I had already been looking for a church in Menifee. When we moved up here, we wanted to get into a church. And it was the last thing on the list. You know, life was first. A friend of ours told us about Access. And once I found out this diagnosis and kind of saw where things were headed, I knew I needed something more than anything a human could give me. I needed a spiritual connection. So we walked into Access Church, and almost immediately I felt that connection. When we met the people there, the first day we were there, it was like, this is our new family now. And it's grown from there. It's been an incredible spiritual journey. God's shown me what faith is. I mean, I think it's real easy to say, yeah, I have faith in God. But when a doctor calls you and tells you that you've got over 20 tumors in your brain and your time here is limited, how far does your faith go? You know, to believe that, one, if I'm going to die, is everything going to be okay? Is my family going to be okay? And is God really going to get me through this? Am I going to see the other side of this in this life or the next? I think before all this started, God knew he was going to take me down a road that I couldn't do by myself. God knew that there's no way what I'm going to give you, you can handle. And God gave me a magnificent person. Some people's reaction, I think, at first when I was diagnosed was that my wife was going to leave, that she wouldn't be the one to stick around. A family member of mine actually asked her if she was going to leave. And I think that hurt her emotionally. But she's been a soldier. She's continued to pick me up and drag me through the mud. When things were at their roughest, she's always been at her strongest. And there's no way that I'd be here if it weren't for her. I would say this unfortunately thing that we've been through has glued us together. And I think long after this cancer's gone, that our marriage has been fortified through it. So I think maybe another plan God had for me in my life was to start this nonprofit, to maybe use me to help other people, one, acknowledge the skin cancer aspect of it, but two, just to see that having a poor diagnosis in life or having struggles in life isn't the end of the world, that we can turn something so bad into something so great. And that could be with anything. It doesn't even just have to be with cancer. It could be with losing your job or with going through some other kind of illness, that we can find positivity. We can find something great in this if you look for it. If you look for what God's trying to do, it doesn't have to be bad. One, that's kept me going. I mean, that's been a huge part of me getting through a lot of these treatments and a lot of the depression that kind of comes with it. It's given me something to do. I couldn't go to work, but this became my job. Even if it was just sitting at home emailing people or writing people letters. And it's also got a lot of humility through me. I've never been one to reach my hand out and ask somebody for something. And now here I'm the CEO of a nonprofit. That's all we do is ask people for stuff. You know, we ask for donations and we ask for gifts and stuff like that. But that's been a great part of my journey, is turning something that seems so bad into something where I can turn around and help people and hopefully prevent them from having to go through what I've went through. My walk with God doesn't stop just because the cancer stops. My walk with God is here forever. And I think God's either spent the last 8 years preparing me to die, or He's spent the last 8 years preparing me to do something fantastic. And I believe I can do something fantastic. I just had this talk with my wife because she's been having some troubles. And I don't know how I'd word it the best, but it seems like when the chips are down, when things seem really bad, that's when God is going to shine the most. And so I would encourage anybody going through any suffering in life, both of my sons, my wife, when you're going through something challenging and it seems hard and difficult, don't lose focus on your faith in God. Look for what God's trying to do in it, because God's trying to show you something. And it took me a long time to see it.
Give me your heart, give me your song, sing it with all your might. Come to the fountain and you can be satisfied. There is a peace, there is a love, you can get lost inside. Come to the fountain and let me hear you testify.